What's going on? Thanks for joining. So, this is the repository in front of us that we're working on. The repository is called Research Dissertation Case for Alt Education. This was originally where I was putting my dissertation work, but now it's just like all my academic papers. You can see I meant for it to be my dissertation, but it grew into all my papers. So papers, these are all the papers. Some were published, some were just like working papers. Um, Currently, we're working on Alt Ed Gender, this paper right here. And I have finished the questionnaire, which took me longer than I thought it would to compile. It's sort of a Frankenstein of prior questionnaires, and then I introduced two new questions. I introduced a new question, which is like a measure of risk aversion, tolerance, preference. Is Melody Boy online? What's up? What's up? The other question that I added is like program career orientation. Like, do you want to be a programmer? Just ask the direct question. Like, do you want to be a programmer? There's like all these like theories about, there's like the Risic scale, which is like basically trying to like place you, like what kind of career would you enjoy? Are you people oriented? Are you thing oriented? One of the problems with that is that like programming itself is not a purely thing oriented profession. There's like a stereotype in psychology, which is like, oh, programming is a thing oriented profession. It's oriented to the programs. They're things. They're not people. It's non-social. These labels get thrown around. The truth of the matter is that programming is largely thing oriented, but not completely. There's a substantial element of teamwork there. Like literally one of the Risic questions is like, I like working on a team. And if you say no to that, they're thinking you're going to be a better programmer or something. It's like, no, I like to work in teams is a social, it's an S. It's a social answer. Bro, you want to work like whether you're a technical person or not, you should be marking yes for this if you want to have like a good professional career. Feel me? So I was inspired by this Risic scale, but I invented my own question, which is just ask them if they want to be a programmer. Let's see, did I do this? Oh, right. How impressed would you be? How impressed would you be? I'm like questioning everything because I just finished it. School A, school B, school C, school D, E, and F. And GH. Okay, so it ends on 40, so there's 8 of them, 8 by 2, 16, so it should start on 30, 26. Should go 26 to 40. 25, 26, 7, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I guess that's right. Start on 25. Cool. So we have, and then got this PDF. So I finished, here's SurveyMonkey. We set it up in SurveyMonkey. Make sure all the questions are required, asterisks on all these bad boys. I think I did so. And then there's this print button. You print it to PDF, include page numbers and the title. I don't have any images. If I had them, I would include them, but I don't have them. And you'll get this PDF. Alt Ed Gender, and I'm putting it in preprint submission packages. This is just like how I prepare my journal articles for submission. So this is a conference, but I'm like treating it like it's going to be a journal submission anyway, which it will be. Like conference, my first priority is like get it good for the conference, hopefully get some good feedback at the conference, but then I do want to submit it to a journal. So here's the PDF of this meta survey. Why is it a meta survey? Because it's a meta analysis. It's a reanalysis. This is more like a replication than gathering original data. Like all these questions have been asked in prior papers. Sandy 2021, thanks for joining. So these are some of the questions we're asking. Basic demographic information, what state do you reside in? That like feels like an awkward way to word that to me, but like that's like the standard way. Household income, age. One of the things I did for education, a lot of people don't do this, but I distinguish between a non-PhD doctoral degree and a doctoral degree, like a PhD. So there's like a MD and then there's a JD, and like these are like very different things, right? A PhD and a JD and an MD and an ED, Doctor of Divinity, like all these different doctors are quite different. And I think that's broadly accepted that they're quite different. And yet we just go ahead and throw them in this single lump. Do you have a PhD? So I said, let's split it. Or the single lump, do you have a doctoral degree? So I said, let's split it and let's look at those two. It may be that that's often combined due to sampling effects. Like if you don't have enough samples, you can't do regression, right? Your regression's underpowered and you don't detect anything. So, but if you isolate these factors, if they are independently insignificant and then you add them and they're significant, you're free to do that. You can't do the reverse. You can't just say, do you have a doctoral degree? And then break it apart when you need it broken apart, right? Ask about personality information. Grit scale, Angela Duckworth, Bay. Big Five, Ocean. Very, very standard. Ocean is like kind of like, it's kind of state of the art, except it's not. When it comes to, I'll show you this paper. Beyond. Cool. Gender differences in personality interests. Yeah. So results show that gender differences in Big Five personality traits are small to moderate. In contrast, gender differences in the people things dimension are very large. So Ocean model is great. It's like a great baseline, but when it comes to the research that I'm doing, you need more than just the Ocean model. So the people things dimension of interest can be measured using Risic, but Risic is like a generalization on like stereotyping professions. Like this is a research profession. This is what do those stand for? Conventional profession, whatever that means, right? And then social profession, I guess that kind of makes sense. The S makes sense. This is a realistic profession. And by that they mean everything from agriculture to computers to construction. And so it's a bit of a strange construct to me. Not that it's inaccurate, it's just that it's, it is inaccurate. Because I'm focused on the particular use case of programming. So I would be using a broad construct that has a correlation to the thing that I care about, but why not just directly measure the thing that I care about? So I think of a career in programming as enjoyable. I'm just asking the question directly. Good deal. So that's the and see yesterday's survey, I was kind of going through the questions. Yeah, I'm just giving you an overview of the questions right now. So there's 10 pages worth of questions. Thoughts on alternative credentials, like the main variable of interest. For many professions, alternative credentials can qualify a person for entry-level position. It's like the main one. Thoughts on rule breakers. Rule breakers are like non-conventional people, basically. Norms breakers. They're rule breakers, quite literally. They'll break formal and informal rules and norms. Do you think that's like a dangerous thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Is that good for culture? Are they adding something interesting? Maybe they're overturning norms as like a good thing, like creative destruction. Or do you think it's more destructive destruction? So that's your perceptions around this personality type. So someone who has an alternative credential is sort of viewed as a rule breaker. basically. Occupational information, you know, STEM field or whatever, industry. How, like, firm size, how many people do you work with? Personality information, went over that. Ideological questions. So it's not clearly laid out, and that's intentional. I don't want to clearly lay it out to the user. But this is actually asking about conservatism in 5 ways. This is like a 5-dimensional model of conservatism. So asking about artificial intelligence is a reliable measure, because I've tested this on other surveys. It's a reliable measure of anti-innovation bias, which is a facet of conservatism. So anti-innovation bias or status quo bias is sort of like the negative way of saying gradualism, and conservatives would tend to preferentially value, I don't necessarily want to use the word overvalue, but at least preferentially value gradualism, right? Where the progressive would be like, change it right now. And the conservative would be like, yeah, maybe we want to change it, but like we got, you know, we're not in the perfect world, but we got here for a reason, and let's think about it a little more and reflect on our past and try to have kind of the best of both worlds. Like try to salvage the good things in our system, acknowledging that the system's imperfect, but trying to salvage the good things in it rather than just replacing it, which is a hard thing to do. And in a lot of cases, you just can't do it. Government regulation helps ensure businesses treat individuals more fairly. This is obviously another facet of conservatism. This would be the like anti-statist, pro-individual freedom, deregulatory, fiscal conservatism, right? I favor freer trade and migration with other nations. So this would be a measure of like, oh, and then, so government regulation, all those things I just said are true, but it's also formally been called anti-market bias. And this is phrased in a negative fashion. So having a high score would mean that you're high in anti-market bias, which would mean that you are low in that facet of fiscal conservatism. Does that make sense? Okay. I favor freer trade and migration with other nations. This is another facet of fiscal conservatism. So conservatism has like 2 main facets. There's like fiscal and social. And then there's like more subtle things within that. Kind of like the gradualist thing is one of those subtle ones, as well as the Burkean conservatism, the rights of Englishmen. That's like a subtle, culturally related contextual thing. But that falls more on the social conservative side. So basically the social conservative side is like potentially a lot more complicated. It simplifies things because my study is in the scope of the United States only. So I don't have to acknowledge that thing which many conservatives would acknowledge, which is that conservatism means different things in different times and places. I just get to talk about American conservatism, like, which is fairly narrowly defined. Anyway, free trade and migration, that would be another like fiscal conservative thing. But it's interesting because this is a part that breaks apart conservatives in the popular sense of the word. Because neoconservatives are somewhat nationalist and like resistant to like a bunch of immigration, basically, and free trade. So like the Trump administration would be having the trade war with China, right? Tit for tat sort of thing. And then like trying to clamp down on illegals in theory, but frankly, in many cases, in many cases, they're blocking legals and they're electing to not award visas that could be elected. And they are like refusing to increase immigration quotas. So there's a lot of rhetoric around we are all for immigration as long as it's legal. But if you talk seriously with some people, they actually want to decrease the legal number as well. And so that would be anti-foreign bias. An academic term here is anti-foreign bias. And that is a facet of conservatism specifically within like neoconservatism. And you can see that it's like anti-foreign bias is a positive indicator of neoconservatism and a negative indicator of fiscal conservatism. So it's almost like the term conservatism has like internal tension, and that it's not really a great term if you include all the different facets. So I, for one, tend to see neoconservatism as other than actual conservatism. Okay, and then the last one is like religiosity, basically. But there's two questions here, and that's because, again, thinking of the American context, whenever we talk about conservative religious, or like religious conservatives, we sort of like play this game of equivocation where we mean a few different things. We could talk about a conservative Jew, or a conservative Muslim, or a conservative Buddhist, or a conservative Christian. And those are very different notions of conservatism, right? And prior studies have asked about just like straight up religiosity. Like, I consider myself religious on a scale of 1 to 10. And if they say 10, it's like, well, that's a very religious, conservative, religious person. It's like, that's not quite accurate, because you can be conservative, that is to say orthodox, within your religion, and yet that might identify you as a social or a market progressive. So we can think of, I think definitely Muslims, at least in the current United States, possibly Jews. These would be groups where if you're conservative within your religion, you're still voting left on the party ticket. You see what I mean? You're still voting Democrat. So I break it into two questions, because I think the one measure approach, I've actually done the one measure approach in the past, and it was insignificant. So I have evidence that the univariate measure is insignificant. And the question is, does that mean that social conservatism as a whole is irrelevant? Or does it mean that the measurement approach was problematic? And I think it's the latter. So you can see we break apart worldview type. We don't even lump Christians together, recognizing that from a socio-political perspective, religions contain like diverse groups from an ideological measurement perspective. So we got conservative or evangelical, progressive, and other. And again, like, why are Christians overrepresented here? Because this study's in the U.S. There's like tons of Christians. So these are going to be these four, this sort of like, like rotated L shape, like seculars and Christians. Actually, there could be good representation in all these categories. But if I had collapsed Christian down, that would definitely be overrepresented. So break that apart. And then whatever your worldview, so instead of asking, I consider myself religious, scale of 1 to 10, it's whatever my worldview is, do I consider myself highly engaged and active in that worldview? And this would include like secularists, non-theists. They still very well might be active in their community, right? I ask about how COVID has impacted your life. I ask, this is about prestige, so giving you different descriptions of different schools and asking about how prestigious you think that school is, trying to uncover basically how important accreditation is to the general audience. Because there's this movement in tech that accreditation doesn't matter, right? But if we look at the average male and the average female in the United States, I think there is a disconnect. So that's one of the theories that we're testing, is that women have a higher value to accredited degrees. And there's some different theories for that. One is like a norms-based theory, and one is a risk aversion theory. Some different theories to that. But that's one of the things that we're surveying to try and capture. These are all about different skills. Oh, and the other thing about prestige is prestige sensitivity. Like, maybe guys just don't care. Maybe it's not that women are interested in accreditation from like risk aversion reasons. Maybe it's like guys just like don't care about, like, prestige just doesn't even register with a lot of guys. Like, I don't even think about if it's prestigious. I just want to know, like, do you know your stuff? Like, I don't really care where you went to school. And that relates to sort of like social networking theories and stuff like that. The level of verbal communication. So this is just like a bunch of skill assessments. Trying to see, are there perceived differences in skills among college graduates and alternatively educated individuals. I think that, and that's the last one. And then it's like, if you're a Mechanical Turk worker, this is how you get your code. So let's do that. Let's go over to Mechanical Turk. And the one thing that I want to do, so I have this, before we set up Mechanical Turk, in Mechanical Turk, they are going to view, they being the Mechanical Turk user, who is a potential recruit, a potential survey participant. They are going to view a recruitment message. I'm going to tell them, like, hey, take my survey. We call that a recruitment message. So I need to write that up. And there are some ethical considerations there. So for reference, here's my dissertation. And I'm basically going to refer to like the artifacts that I made over there and sort of like tweak them for my current use. So I mean, I'll check this. I don't think it's okay. Priming message. Yeah, this is a priming message. It's not a recruitment message. Okay, I guess it's not in that folder. I thought it was. Okay, let's go look within the paper folders. So one is the coronavirus one. I have COVID and COVID-2. We can check both of them. With appendix. Okay. Nope. I or B? Yep, here you go. Recruitment message. Okay, so I will look at this code recruitment message. Oh, by the way, one more thing before the recruitment message. I did this thing called a 3-pager, and I forgot I did it, and it looks pretty cool. So we were reviewing like the factors in the present questionnaire or survey, and this is a view of 3 administrations, and I actually did even more administrations. If I scroll down, are they there? Yeah, I think I never filled them out. I only filled out the 3. But basically, you get a view of all these different survey questions, and they end up being independent factors in a multilinear regression model. And you get a view about whether they are important or not. So it's like a meta-study table, and I think that's cool. So for example, we can see online education, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency. 2 of the 3 are strong and 1 is not. Cryptocurrency was strong by itself. And these were all trying to detect anti-innovation bias as one of the uses. And so you can see the evolution here. Like, originally I asked about cryptocurrency. Then I asked about cryptocurrency and AI, and it turns out that AI is more important. In that multiple regression, cryptocurrency is partialed out. It's explained away. It's endogenous. It's collinear. It's no longer necessary. But online education is robust. So that's cool. And that's why I still ask about those things and why I no longer ask about cryptocurrency. So, and then like previously I looked at religiousness and I also looked at Christianity, but it was like a really stupid question. It was like, I consider myself Christian on a scale of 1 to 10. How strongly do you agree? It's like, what if the answer is no? You know, like, and then also acknowledging that within Christianity, there's so many different groups that have very different left-right intersections from a socio-political lens. Regulatory policy, tap that, works. This was fun. I measured time. I was like, I wonder if the time they took to complete their survey is an indicator of intelligence. That didn't end up being significant. There was another survey where there's like fill in the blank answers in a couple places and people put like total garbage answers, and I used that as an indicator of whether or not they were intelligent. But I actually don't remember if that was significant or not. I don't really think it was. Okay, enough fun. Let's get back to the task. We went over all this. We want to version control the PDF, and then we also want to create and version control a recruitment message. So I'll close this Threepager. Here's the recruitment message. Cool. I'm going to just straight up copy it. Or I can file save as and literally save this file and then edit it in place, right? So let's go papers, gender. So it was under preprint submission packages IRB. I'm not dealing with an IRB this time, but I'll keep it under preprint submission packages, and this will be just recruitment message. Cool. I need to change the OSF link. To access the survey, yeah, so this OSF link ends up being how they participate in the survey. Yep, so I think I deleted all 3 of them, right? Oh, no. I agree. Click. It doesn't work though, does it? Yeah, survey is currently closed. Okay. So like you can't take those surveys anymore. This is the informed consent form, and this is what I am. I also need this. Informed consent. And then the informed consent form has the button, and that's how you get to the survey. So basically, they're indicating their consent by clicking that I agree button. Now, I would think that they could indicate their consent by just like accepting the task, the Mechanical Turk task. I guess for some people that's not satisfactory. I'm not really sure why. So there's 2 alternatives for you if you're trying to build a survey through Mechanical Turk. One is that you can just provide them this message and say like, if you proceed, you're accepting these terms, right? Which I would prefer to do, I think. On the one hand, it's like I'm not bounded by the IRB anymore. On the other hand, it's like maybe I should still do it that way. I don't know. Informed consent with link. Let's copy these over. Is literally the only difference is the link at the bottom. I agree, I do not agree. And that's just I agree. Cool. And then you just save it as a PDF, and then you can upload the PDF to OSF. And it said that it was me, but you can make it anonymous. Yeah, it says John Vanderveer. I wish it didn't say that. You can make it anonymous though. Cool. So what am I going to do? And there's the proposed questionnaire designer package. I don't think I need this. Yeah, that was just proving that I had it all submitted to the designer, which I'm not using in this case. Designer is like an IRB artifact management tool. Okay, so I'm just gonna not rock the boat is how I feel. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do it the same IRB way, even though I'm not in the IRB anymore, but let's still follow that pattern. Yeah, and like, so here's one reason, right? Like, the Mason Live email address is still associated with my account. I'm not representing myself here as associated with the school anymore. Maybe I should just make the whole thing private. I don't know. Make private. No, I think it's fine, because then people can still see. If they go to the GitHub, they can still see the link and see, like, what was that for. All right, let's do a new project. What is this project? Alt Ed Meta Study. United States. Go to new project. And then we want the PDF. Okay, so we're gonna do this that way. Let's do it. Recruitment message for gender. What is it called? Digital bootcamps and gender equity. I'm gonna go for it. There's literally one question that's sort of like digital bootcamp specific, but that's enough to make it digital bootcamp specific. Okay. Control-Alt-V, unformatted. Recruitment message for digital bootcamps and gender equity, John Vanderveer. This document provides the recruitment messaging that will be used to enroll participants into the study. Recruitment is performed using the Mechanical Turk platform. Any U.S. citizen at or over the age 18. So that is the survey criteria. Answer a survey about your opinions on alternatives to college. That still makes sense. This survey asks your opinion on alternatives to college. It's designed to take about 15 minutes. It's not going to take you 15 minutes. I can say less than 30 minutes. Designed to take less than 30 minutes. Okay. We are conducting an academic survey about alternatives to the traditional college experience. That "we" always irritates me. Like, who's we? I am conducting an academic survey about alternatives to the traditional college experience. At the end of the survey, you'll receive a completion code to paste into the box below to receive credit. Yep. Make sure to leave this window open as you complete the survey. When you are finished, you'll return to this page to paste the code into the box. Good. So then we are going to get rid of this. Bam. Control S. So this is ready. All I got to do is get the OSF link. This is the recruitment message. Okay. So if I want the OSF link, then I want informed consent with link. And then I'll print a PDF version. And that's all I need out of here, right? Because there's the PDF version, proposed questionnaire. That's, I should rename this though. Questionnaire. I'll just call it questionnaire. Okay, and this is not COVID study informed consent. It is just informed consent. Cool. So let's open this up, and I need to like really change this because it's, okay. Impact of coronavirus on alternative credential survey. This is I will say survey digital boot camps and gender equity, informed consent form. Research is being conducted to help researchers understand how Americans perceive people with different kinds of education. Yes. If you agree to participate, you will be asked to answer questions about so-called alternative credentials for the purposes of this survey. Information is intended to be used for both academic and commercial purposes. Great. Which is true. So this is in association, this research is in association with Latterly.io, where you can go and learn to code right now, viewer. Yeah, just like that, Latterly.io. Cool. Questionnaire is intended to take less than 30 minutes and is composed of less than 30 minutes and is composed of, I think, 95 questions. This is a different survey. Composed of 95 questions. These questions ask you about you, your personal background, your employment situation, your views on education, and whether COVID-19 and how did I phrase that previously? Because I do still include the COVID question. And whether the coronavirus epidemic has impacted you. Control shift, control. And whether you have and how you have been impacted by COVID-19. How you have been impacted, whether you have been impacted. I think I can still ask how you have been impacted, and what the answer might be insignificantly. That's yeah. Okay, no foreseeable risks, that's right. No benefits to you as a participant, other than to further research in the fields and payment for your participation. That's right. Data is confidential, this is true. Sole individual with user ID access in order to facilitate payments this and service requests for assistance. Yep. The de-identified data, data from which all personally identifiable could be used for future research without additional written consent. Yes. The IRB committee. Yeah, I don't want to say anything about the IRB committee. Y'all are not here. I'll keep this. While it is understood that no computer transmission can be perfectly secure, reasonable efforts will be made to protect the confidentiality of your transmission. Cool. Participation is open to U.S. citizens 18 or higher. Yep. Mechanical Turk account is required to participate and to receive payment. Your participation is voluntary and you may withdraw from the study at any time and for any reason. If you decide not to participate or if you withdraw from the study, there is no penalty or loss of benefits to which you are otherwise entitled. In other words, if they withdraw, I'm still going to pay them? I mean, maybe. I don't know. There are no costs to you or any other party other than the cancellation of payment received for participation. Okay. Value of the incentive to participate is estimated at. I'm going to delete that. Under U.S. and federal tax law, you may have mean, okay, I'll leave the boilerplate, but I don't think so. Because I'm not giving you that one. I think the idea is if I give you a ton of money, you might have to disclose it. Anyway, research is being conducted by John Vandeveer. Just me. He may be contacted for questions or to report a research-related problem at. You may contact. Do not contact the IRB, and there is no IRB net number. Has been reviewed according to. No, it has not. Okay. So let's change this. And I don't want to give out my cell number. Cool. If you, the viewer, would like to contact me, you also may contact me at this email address. Last name _ first name at Yahoo. Okay, by clicking the I agree below, I confirm that I have read this form. All of my questions have been answered by the research staff, and I agree to participate in the study. And then that just goes to SurveyMonkey itself. Okay, so let's go get that SurveyMonkey link. Hot potatoes, here we go, baby. We're cruising. What's up, Gary? Thanks for joining. We're about to set this baby up. Preview and score, okay. SurveyMonkey estimates it'll take 14 minutes, but there are 2 external sub-surveys that could take like up to 5 minutes apiece. They really shouldn't take that long, but they could. And so then we're still in the safe range of what I said is like under 30. This is what I want to do. I want to share a survey link. Cool, and this is going to be the mechanical Turk collector. Save, boom. So we got this link, and this is the link that we put in the I agree button. So we're going to edit this, edit. Boo, work better. Double click it, right click it. No idea what's going on. Edit link. Control A, Control V. I will open link just to confirm it works. Boom. Thoughts on alternative? This is it. This is it. Ooh, bam. Better not click anything. End up submitting to my own survey. Okay. So this is a legit document now. So now that it's legit, I'm going to save it in a PDF format. Save as PDF. Boom. Cool, it's looking good. And this, click it, make sure the link works. Bam, there it is. Go back, close. This PDF is what will go into OSF. Informed consent. Drop it in the OSF storage US, United States. There it is. Now I clicked it once to get it blue. So like if I click right here, and then if I right click, it doesn't really work. So I click it, left click it once, it'll be kind of like dark blue. Then I, oh, how do I get that link? What the? Oh, you know what? I just click it and I get the link up top. Forgot. Okay, so this is the link. And I can confirm that by Control T, Control V, Enter, and it should bring me to the informed consent document. This is what the end user will see. Survey, Digital Bootcamps, Gender Equity, Informed Consent Form. They're going to read through it, all this awesome stuff. They're going to click it. Bam! They're going to get to the survey. And once they've clicked that, they have consented. So this is the link that will actually go in my recruitment message. Okay, so close this, close this. Oop. Let me Control-Shift-T, Control-Shift-T. Okay, it's the same link. Both of these are the same link. Great. This will go right here, Control-V. Shift home, Control-K, Control-V, Enter. Some of this is like reflexes for me. Sorry if I like flew through it too fast. So now it's hyperlinked. Okay. So this all looks good. Close this. And I'm going to select it all, right click, tortoise git add. And I'm going to commit. The feature is, oh, I don't need that. Oh, it's because I still have it open. I'm going to close it. Wait, do I want to save? Yes, I do want to save. Hold on. Let me cancel. Boop. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. Why is it telling me that there's like unsaved stuff? Save, save. Okay. Apollo, thanks for joining. Okay, so whatever it was, it saved. Got 48 on the date modified at 7:48 is the present time. So right click. I could do like command line stuff, but tortoise git makes it kind of faster. That's a tool you can have on Windows. So this will be following conventional commit. I'll do feat informed consent. This is just the informed consent documents. Commit, push, okay. And then if we look over here, there it is, informed consent, now alt ed gender. So with that, we have everything under version control, and we can go to Mechanical Turk and get this baby rolling. I'm going to close out of SurveyMonkey. We're going to go to, I'm going to bring in a new tab because I don't know if it's going to like show my user data or something. But here you can see it's just mturk.com. It's an Amazon service. Sign in as requester, and I already have it. Okay, it's the same email. All right, fine. I already have an existing requester account, and so boom. So these are like some of the surveys I've done in the past. What I want to do is a new project. And it gives you this kind of template. It defaults to survey link because that's like, I guess, the most common thing Mechanical Turk is for, but you can do all this other stuff with it. They're kind of like templates ready for you on the left-hand side there. Crack open this disgusting mystery flavor Mountain Dew. Ew. Mystery flavor. See that? What flavor is the mystery flavor? It's like, it's just bad. It's like cotton candy and pears. Figure that one out. Okay, so we just need to change the survey link, basically. Let's go back to our informed consent. No, this is the one that's on OSF. We just need our recruitment message, because that's exactly what this Mechanical Turk is a recruitment platform from a research perspective. So Control C. Survey link, survey. Oh yeah, the survey is like the actual survey is here in Mechanical Turk. And that is something I want to look into on at like some other point, because I don't like, why are you using SurveyMonkey at all? Arguably, I don't need to. All right, let's create this project. So we're creating it. Great. And so we have the title and the description. Answer a survey about your opinions on alternatives to college. That is the title. Then the description. I didn't do any keywords. Let's see. Survey, demographics, education. Programming. Personality. I guess that works. We can add those keywords. So we have description. Let's do Amazon Mechanical Turk keywords. Cool. Save that. Good. Looking good. Micro 70. Thanks for joining. What's going on? Reward per response. So for a much shorter survey, I gave them 30 or $3 per response. I think I definitely want to give them more than that. And what I'd like to do is at least pay them 10, if not 12 or $15 an hour. And I'm expecting this will take 20 to 30 minutes. So let's do 14 at 25 minutes. Of course, I would pick some like hard math. 25 out of 60 times 14. Okay, 580. Let's do $6. Okay, we'll give them $6. I think that sounds fair. Reward per response is $6. Number of respondents, 20. This is going to be per batch. Eventually, I want over. So this is actually an important thing for researchers. Hear me on this. If you haven't done this before, make your first batch smaller. Because if there's something wrong with your survey, you might have missed it. This questionnaire is like 100 questions long. And I always get people that email me, even if they're wrong, if the survey's fine, but they might think it's wrong. You don't want to get hit with like a huge volume of crazy problems, right? So there's handling participants who don't really understand what's going on. That's one reason they might email you or something. And then there's also the possibility that you really have something wrong in your questionnaire that I know, trust me, I know. We've looked over it 100,000 times, but still. So don't just go drop your whole budget in one round. Don't do that. There's also this like other like dubious benefit, which is if you can space your survey out over a few days, you might get some panelization. That's more dubious. And then there's obviously the constraint that, John, I don't want the panelization. I want my survey done now. I'm in a rush. I don't want it to take days. So I get the pressure on both sides. Just trying to point out the glass is kind of like possibly half full. There's a silver lining. The critical thing, even if you want to get it all done today, don't drop it in one round. You can do 20. I think like, yeah, around the $100 mark. So I think 20 is good for my first round. And that doesn't mean I'm going to do 20 in every round. I might do 20 and then I might go, the next one might be 200, right? Or I might go 20 and then I might go 50, and kind of scale it up. But just don't go all in on your first round. Like break it up at least into a few rounds. Okay. I'll give them up to 2 hours each. Okay, reward per response is $6. Number of respondents is 20 for my first round, right? And you'll publish that, pay it out, and then come back and do another round. So this is not like the total number of samples that I'll be getting for my paper. It's a batch. It's even called a batch, I think. Well, here it's called a project. But you do batches with your project. The batch is the thing that you're paying for. A batch is like sending a group of Mechanical Turk users to your project. Require that workers be masters? No. Specify any additional qualifications? Yes. They need to be US citizens. I think they have to be. Let me double check on that. Are Mechanical Turk workers US citizens? No, I don't think so. Tax information for US residents. Whew. We require workers to provide valid taxpayer identification information in order to comply with U.S. tax reporting regulations. Okay, I'm a U.S. citizen living outside the U.S. I'm getting the message tax status not supported. Does not support U.S. persons residing outside the U.S. If you selected yes to the U.S. person question in the interview, an error. Please update your tax information. If you selected yes correctly, you may retake the tax interview if your circumstances change. Okay. Mechanical Turk, U.S. citizen only. Yes, all non-U.S. Yes, all non-U.S. based workers are required to provide their tax information. Yeah, so there are non-U.S. based workers. So I recall there having been a filter here. Some filter to ensure that you're U.S. based. Maybe it's like location. JKL, language. No, LinkedIn, marital. U.S. bachelor's degree. No, I don't care about that. Oh, there it is. Location. Location is what? Oh, because it's not premium qualification. Ugh. Force for the trees, huh? Location is I don't care about the state level location. United States of America. What is that? Is that funky A there and intentionally? Cote d'Ivoire. Seems like some strange character encodings. United States. Bam. There we go. Well, that was harder than I thought it should have been. Okay. All workers can see and preview my tasks. Yep. It seems like maybe I should do private. Only workers that meet all qualifications can preview my tasks. Kind of feels like maybe I should do that. I don't know. I apologize if I'm like wasting worker time. Design layout. Okay. We're conducting an okay, so this is where the description goes. Oh, that's why it said we are. Just to be normalized to Amazon Mechanical Turk appearance. No, that's not a good reason in my book. So I would prefer accuracy over normalization. So I'm gonna just boom, delete, paste, okay? Cut that one. I can put that one there, that's fine. Bam. Maybe not. Maybe put that one there. Delete this thing. Okay. I'm conducting an academic survey about alternatives. You know what? I do want... Yeah, I'm going to delete this. Sorry if it's jarring to you, Mechanical Turk user. Lost in the Midwest joined. What's up? What's up? Conducting academic survey about alternatives. Make sure to leave this window open. Still making sure that this Still making sure that this link works. Doesn't seem to be. Okay, so let's preview. It's like collapsed by default. I don't like that. Okay, let me go back. Design layout. Maybe I just delete this whole thing. Right? That's fine, right? And how does it look in this Word document? You can do an extra space right there just to kind of like, this is what you're looking for. Kind of like break it up. Tell me. I think that works. Okay, so let's preview. Open link in new tab. Should have a PDF. Great, I agree. Goes to the survey. And that's how you hook it up. That's how you wire it up so that they can do a Mechanical Turk people can take your survey. So let's finish that. Publish batch. This is how your survey will look to workers. Make sure that it looks correct, then click next. So it looks good. I'm just hoping, I'm going to take this off screen because it might have my payment details on screen when I click next. So I'm just clicking. Here you can see there's the next button. And I'm about to click it. We'll see. Okay, it makes me sign in again because it's about to ask me for payment details. Okay, and so it does have my payment details, but I'll still show you what the page looks like. Because I know when I stop scrolling, basically. Batch name, survey, link 1. So this is what it is. And it's giving you the batch details, and then the number of tasks, number of assignments, price, Mechanical Turk fee. And so you can see there's like a fairly hefty fee right there, right? And then you can see total due. Below that is payment information. But I'm going to end the stream there. Literally, I'm going to click go on this. Like, I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to click go on that survey. And users are going to start rolling in. And it's not like 20 people immediately show up. But yeah, actually 20 people is not a big ask at all for Amazon. Those people will show up within a minute or two. The answers sort of roll in non-simultaneously though, because like some people take longer to fill out the survey, right? So that's it for today's stream. Thanks for joining. Today we saw how to print out a SurveyMonkey survey, version control it, create informed consent, create recruitment message, some ethical considerations in there, go to Mechanical Turk, select your audience, wire up, use OWF, host the informed consent document, wire it all up, and yeah, and literally I'm gonna enter my card information and hit go, and we're gonna start getting observations. So thanks. Hopefully next time around, like next stream, I'll have some data. De-identified / anonymized and anonymized de-identified / anonymized data that will be able to do some real Python code and do some regression, do some descriptive statistics, some regression, and then maybe even some clustering analysis or something like that in the future. Stay tuned.